$180 Airbnb in New York now costs $350 after fees. A family books a beach house for vacation. They find a hidden camera in the bedroom, and these weren't isolated incidents. In 2023 alone, dozens of documented cases surfaced across major cities. And in 2024, New York City bans 80% of all Airbnb listings overnight. This isn't a scandal, it's a structural failure. This is the story of how Airbnb accidentally destroyed housing markets worldwide, how it triggered a political backlash it can't win, and how the company that killed hotels is now losing to the hotels it tried to replace. Because Airbnb didn't fail because of greed, it failed because it tried to become real estate. Let's start with what's happening right now. 2023. New York City passes Local Law 18. Short-term rentals under 30 days are effectively illegal unless the host is present. Airbnb fights it, spends millions lobbying, loses. The law takes effect. Within weeks, 80% of New York listings disappear. From over 22,000 active listings to fewer than 4,000. 10,000 apartments gone from the platform overnight. But New York wasn't alone. Paris limits rentals to 120 days per year. Heavy fines for violations. Barcelona announces a complete ban on tourist apartments by 2028. Amsterdam caps rentals at 30 days per year. Berlin requires registration for every listing. Most hosts don't comply. Thousands of listings vanish. City after city, the same pattern. Regulations tighten, Airbnb shrinks. This is the regulatory hammer the company always feared. And it's not stopping. But here's the question nobody asked. Why now? Airbnb has existed since 2008. Why are cities suddenly banning it in 2024? The answer takes us back to the beginning. 2007. Two guys in San Francisco can't afford rent. Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia set up air mattresses in their living room. A design conference is in town. Hotels are sold out. They charge $80 per night. 3 people book. That weekend, they make rent. More importantly, they discover something nobody else saw. People didn't want hotels. They wanted homes, authentic experiences, local connections. By 2008, they launch. The pitch is simple. Rent out your spare room, make extra money, meet travelers. The sharing economy before anyone called it that. Growth starts slow, investors reject them, hotels ignore them. This is a niche thing for broke millennials. Then something shifts. In just 6 years, Airbnb went from air mattresses to 60 million annual bookings. Revenue hit $900 million by 2015. By 2017, it had surpassed the top 5 hotel chains combined. The disruption worked. Because Airbnb cracked the code, hotels never could. Hotels sell rooms. Airbnb sold stories. A Brooklyn loft, a Parisian apartment, a villa in Bali. And it was cheaper. A hotel in Manhattan, $300 a night. An Airbnb, $120. But that's when it stopped being about spare rooms. 2016. Airbnb's data team notices something strange. Hosts with multiple properties are taking over the platform. The original vision was spare rooms, homeowners making extra cash, real people sharing real homes. But an IPO was coming. Growth became everything. So Airbnb made a choice. Stop enforcing the one host, one home model. Suddenly, people weren't renting spare rooms. They were buying apartments, entire buildings, converting them into full-time Airbnb operations. By 2019, research showed 30% of all listings were controlled by hosts with multiple properties. In some cities, it was over 50%. These weren't homeowners. These were real estate investors running mini hotel empires. At this point, Airbnb wasn't a tech startup anymore. It was influencing housing supply. This was the moment Airbnb stopped being a platform and started becoming a shadow real estate company. The company that promised to democratize travel had created a landlord class. But the real problem wasn't who was hosting. It was what happened to the cities. Barcelona's Gothic quarter, Venice's historic center, Lisbon's old town. Entire neighborhoods transformed. Local families couldn't afford rent anymore. Landlords made more money on Airbnb than long-term tenants. Apartments disappeared from the housing market. In Barcelona, 20% of all housing in the city center became short-term rentals. In Venice, the resident population dropped below 50,000. It had been 175,000 in the 1950s. The city was becoming a theme park. Families who'd lived there for generations got priced out, replaced by tourists staying 2 nights. This wasn't a side effect. This was the business model. And cities started noticing. But cities move slowly. Regulations take years. And while governments debated, Airbnb kept growing. 2021, the company goes public. Valuation hits $100 billion. Then the fees started. Remember that $120 Airbnb in New York? By 2022, it didn't exist. Same listing. now $180 per night, plus a $95 cleaning fee, plus a $42 service fee, plus taxes. Total, $350. More expensive than the hotel down the street. And you still have to clean before checkout. In 2016, cleaning fees averaged $38. By 2023, listings regularly charged over $100. Airbnb didn't raise prices, it fragmented them. Hotels bundle, Airbnb unbundled. Hosts added fees for everything: linens, towels, early check-in, late checkout, Wi-Fi. Things that used to be included, the platform took its cut from everything. Hosts got squeezed, guests got gouged, Airbnb got rich. But fees weren't the real problem. The real problem was something Airbnb couldn't control: trust. 2023. Reports of hidden cameras in Airbnbs surge. Bedrooms, bathrooms. Hosts watching guests without consent. A family books a Colorado cabin for Christmas. They arrive. The heat doesn't work. It's 15 degrees outside. They contact Airbnb. They get a chatbot. No human response for 14 hours. They spend Christmas in a hotel. Individually, these incidents are rare. Collectively, they change perception. This is what happens when scale matters more than trust, when growth metrics override customer care, and customers notice. 2024. Data shows hotel bookings growing again. Airbnb growth slows. Customer satisfaction drops to record lows. Hotels adapted. Boutique brands offered local experiences. Chains dropped prices. Marriott launched home rental services competing with Airbnb. And hotels offered what Airbnb couldn't: consistency, standards, actual customer service, no hidden fees. A business traveler books a hotel in Chicago, $200 per night. That's the final price. Daily housekeeping, 24/7 support, loyalty points. Same traveler checks Airbnb. $165 becomes $290 after fees. No housekeeping, no support. And you take out the trash before leaving. The value proposition collapsed, but the real blow came from governments. Because while Airbnb was optimizing fees and chasing growth, cities had finally done the math. Airbnb wasn't just a tech platform, it was a housing crisis accelerator. In tourist-heavy neighborhoods, the impact was worse. Rents rose 7% faster in areas with heavy Airbnb presence. That's above normal inflation. In tourist-heavy neighborhoods, the impact was worse. Rents rose 7% faster in areas with heavy Airbnb presence. Cities realized they weren't regulating an app. They were regulating housing. Cities were losing affordable housing, residents were getting priced out, tax revenue from hotels was disappearing. The political cost became too high. What Airbnb learned too late is that trust doesn't scale the way growth does. You can optimize algorithms. You can't optimize trust. And that's when the ban started. New York, Paris, Barcelona, Amsterdam, Berlin, Boston, San Francisco. One by one, regulations tightened. Some cities banned it outright. Others made it so difficult to operate legally that hosts gave up. Airbnb fought back. Lawsuits, lobbying, public campaigns about small hosts making extra income. But the data didn't support that story anymore. Studies showed the majority of revenue came from commercial operators with multiple listings. The spare room economy was a myth. Airbnb had become what it claimed to disrupt, a real estate play disguised as a sharing platform. And cities called the bluff. By late 2024, Airbnb stock had lost nearly half its value from the 2021 peak. Growth stagnated. Regulatory pressure increased. The company that disrupted an industry was getting disrupted by the consequences of its own success. Here's what Airbnb still doesn't understand. They had a choice in 2016. Stay true to the spare room model or chase growth. They chose growth. They could have limited hosts to one property. They could have enforced residency requirements. They could have partnered with cities on housing policy. Instead, they let professional landlords take over. They let fees explode. They let trust erode. And now they're paying for it. Because platforms are built on trust. And trust doesn't scale the way growth does. Customer satisfaction surveys began trending downward after 2021. Net promoter scores declined as fees and disputes increased. Airbnb lost it when they chose real estate over community. When they chose investors over customers. When they chose growth over the mission that made them special. Hotels didn't beat Airbnb by being better. They beat Airbnb by being consistent. Airbnb didn't fail because of fees. It failed because platforms can't scale trust. And once trust breaks, growth doesn't matter. From air mattresses in a San Francisco apartment to a $100 billion company that cities are banning, the arc is complete. They didn't change the product, they changed what the product stood for. And nobody wanted that version. If you want to understand the real stories behind the companies that shaped your world, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.